Hey guys, it's Emma Romano here. The reason I'm doing this video very quickly is because a lot of my therapists who I teach have got quite a few women and men who have MS wanting to see the therapists that I train in Family Freedom Protocol and Practitioner Sovereignty. And I am 51 today. Today is what date? The 20th of December, 2022. I'm 51, and when I was 44, I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. So before that, there was a lot of fatigue, a lot of memory loss. Like I just wouldn't remember names. I wouldn't remember words. I got very clumsy in my hands. And then I went blind in my left eye. So first off, it just started running and I just felt basically unwell. Almost like you're getting a flu or something. Or, you know when you know something's coming but it doesn't quite break? It was that. And sorry, I get emotional talking about it. I then went blind in my left eye, which was optic neuritis. So my eyeball itself was perfect. It was the optic nerve going from the eyeball to the brain that was all inflamed. And apparently that's a very common thing for people diagnosed with MS. It will start with optic neuritis first. So I was heavily medicated. I was on cortisone and stuff like that for my eye. So I had to go in, I think it was every day or every second day for an infusion. Unfortunately, it didn't work. It actually made me quite sick, like erratic in the brain. Sometimes it's quite good for people. I was just really angry on it. It didn't work very well for me and it didn't help with my eyesight. And you're on it for quite some time, so you've got to wean off it and stuff. So it really fucks with you. And then I started going numb down my right leg, sort of from my right hip all the way to my toe. And that's when they kind of call that a second event. And that's when they put you on, I was on medication. Cannot remember for the life of me the name. I want to say Gilda something. People who know the medication, they'll probably know what I'm roughly talking about. But I know I had to have medication in the morning and a medication at night. And then this caused a heart murmur or heart problem. And I got very, very sad. I got very scared. I had chronic fatigue. I had anxiety, I had all of it. And I was medicating, I was doing all the things the doctors told me, and I was getting worse and worse and worse. Within that 3 months, I started getting very numb in my hands, my face, my chest. I hated not being able to do anything. I was a woman who was very busy all the time because I didn't want 5 minutes to myself to be able to think or feel. I was always doing everything for everybody else. I would lose myself that way, so I didn't have to deal with me. I was a people pleaser, and after 3 months, two things actually happened that were kind of the things what made me go on a different route. One was I dropped my husband handed me my niece Georgia. She was about 18 months, and my hands just gave way, and he caught her, thank God, but she was very close. Her head was very close, like she toppled over, and her head was very close to a cement step. And, you know, my imagination went wild, and I was so scared that I was going to really hurt her or she could have died. And I can't remember if it was the day before or the day after, but my son was sitting there, and so I get really emotional. He told me he liked it when I was sick because I was present. And that killed me. It killed me to think that the only time I'm going to be a present person or, you know, stop being busy is when I was sick. It's bullshit. And at that stage, I couldn't drive, I couldn't walk, I couldn't work. I was, at the time, a tennis coach. I was doing competition tennis, competition netball, roller derby, working 3 jobs, very, very busy. And my whole world stopped. And that's when I went back to the neurologist and said, like, I'm taking all the medication. I'm getting worse. When do I get better? And they don't know. I'm not sitting here. Medication works for others. It didn't obviously work for me. And they don't know. They're doing the best that they possibly can with something that they just don't have the research on. I mean, MS is a weird-ass fucking disease in the body. But I decided right then and there that I was going to try something different because they had told me within 6 months, at the age of 44, it was July 2014, that I was going to be in a wheelchair in about 6 months. And in 2 years' time, I would probably, at the age of 46, I would be in a nursing home because I'd be too much for my family to handle. So I was like, fuck that. It's not going to happen. And I left and I made a choice then and there that I was going to try something different. And I started looking at food and what I had to cut out of my food, what I had to do to eat to nourish my body instead of starving my body. I thought what I was eating was the right things, which was, cereal for breakfast, some toast or, bacon and eggs or meat and veg and some butter and, a sandwich was good. It's not. You really have to educate yourself on what is good and what is not good and take out anything that's inflammatory in your diet, which is sugar, anything that's white, sugar, dairy, wheat, rice, meat, things like that has to come out of your diet. And when people go, oh, fuck, no sugar. What, is it fucking sugar or do you want to not walk? Like, it was a no-brainer. People say to me, was it easy to give up sugar? Fuck yes. Straight away, I gave up meat. I gave up carbs. Just done. Fuck, yeah. I can barely walk here. It was so easy. The biggest thing with MS to heal is the trauma and the emotional baggage. That is what gives you multiple sclerosis. I have to tell you, looking back, my biggest 2 trigger things of negative emotions was most definitely anger. I was very angry all my life, very angry, and not outwardly angry. I held it in. And shame. Shame about who I was, shame about not being enough, shame around judgment of others. It was shame and anger. I did those 2 things very well. And everything in between, I would ignore it. So I went on a massive healing journey of healing my childhood traumas, abandonment issues around my father, around all kinds of stuff. I did a lot of work. A lot of work on myself. I still do work on myself all the time. Do I have MS? No. My eyesight is amazing. I have all my feeling back in my body. The person I worked with a diet was Penelope Walsh. I still refer her to everybody. She's a naturopath in Queensland. I've never met her personally. Only worked with her on the phone. She's incredible. I will tag her here. I help people with MS all over the world. I help people with cancer all over the world. Any dis-ease you have in the body, hi darling, any dis-ease you have in the body is your body's indicator to telling you that there is negative emotion stuck there is trauma stuck there, and that it is just simply a message to say, fucking please heal it. Don't just feel the feeling, you got to deal with the feeling as well. You got to feel it, heal it. And I'm going to tell you now, you can't do it on your own. Don't sit there and go, I'm going to read a book or I'm going to watch a podcast, that'll sort me out. It's not. You need a therapist. You need support, and you probably need several different therapists. And if you want that help, please private message me. If you're too embarrassed or you're scared of judgment or you have anxiety around people knowing what you're going through, please private message me. I have so many people. If you want to be that practitioner who wants to help people, I will help you with that. But you are not alone. And all I'm saying is this: have an open mindset. MS will not define you. MS will not kill you. MS will not stop you unless you're choosing it to. I'm here. I love you. See ya.